Hello, everybody, and welcome to Player 2 Press Start. I am killagreg. You can find me at killagreg17. So I was on vacation this week, so Dan and I made a decision. We're going to throw up the last of our Halo Retrospective. We know everybody really likes these, and it has been almost 3 or 4 months since we've done another one. So we figured it was time again anyway. So today we're going to talk about Halo 4 and a little bit about Halo Wars. Hopefully, and I know we have been saying this for probably months now. Next week, we are going to talk about golf games. But until then, enjoy this retrospective. You can find Dan at the Polygon 1. You can find me at killagreg17. You can find both of us at Player2 PLAYRTWO on Twitter. You can find our website, player2pressstart.com. Here it is, Halo 4.
Okay, so moving on to Halo 4. This is
The worst.
this is something else.
This is the worst.
It is the worst in most respects, but not all respects.
Okay.
So quick recap of Halo 4.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, just to kind of set us up to where we are.
Actually, let me just quickly review the plot of Halo 4. Okay.
Okay.
So the Master Chief is floating in space. Cortana has to wake him up because there are buttons to get pressed. All right. So there's a mysterious giant button floating around this ship, and the Master Chief flies out of the ship, presses the button.
Isn't there a giant butthole you fly through?
There's a big butthole, butthole, same thing. And then 6 hours later, 6 excruciating button presses later, the credits roll.
That's Halo 4.
That's Halo 4.
And we're done with this episode of the podcast.
Credits.
Halo 4 is definitely different. First game by 343. Do you want to give like a little bit of info on 343? Is it former employees of Bungie?
A few,
Okay.
but not really. It's kind of a completely independent studio, but it was designed specifically to take Halo over from Bungie when Bungie was done.
And do we know how Bungie felt about that? Were they
fine.
They were on board with it?
Yeah, because Bungie got tired of making Halo. Just to give an example, there is a very small Easter egg. Bungie's newest game coming out called Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
It looks amazing. There is an Easter egg for Destiny in ODST.
Really?
Yes. Which came out
Years ago.
2008.
Wow.
Yeah. So Bungie has been ready.
What's the Easter egg?
They're all right, so Destiny's promotional thing is a planet with another like moon or another planet rising above it and says Destiny under it. In ODST there's one single sign that has the same artwork, that it's a planet with another little planet floating above it, and then I think a catchphrase like "Your destiny awaits" or something like that.
Huh.
I mean, it is blatant.
Is that like about living on the colonies?
Maybe.
Like moving out to the colonies or something?
Like, it works in the Halo universe, but it's very obvious that Bungie had plans for Destiny 5 years ago.
Huh.
So Bungie's fine with 343. Like, they're all totally cool.
Okay.
And 343, so what happened was Bungie kept working on Reach. 343 tested the waters by doing the Halo anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Bungie bowed out, they
took over for Halo 4.
They took over. Because I think Bungie's contract with Microsoft had ended as well.
Okay.
So that's the whole thing.
So Greg has set up the bulk of the story here.
There's more. Dan, if you want to tell more, you're more than welcome.
It's a really convoluted, weird game where basically it revolves around the Forerunners, who are the intelligent beings that basically they built the Halo rings. They built all of the weird structures you're always going through. They are the precursors to everything.
Right. And this was a real letdown because I'm interested in it. I love the lore of Halo.
And one of the biggest parts of that lore is the didact. And there's this the didact was married to the librarian, and they were on totally opposite sides of how to deal with the flood. Because the didact wanted to shoot off the rings, right?
I believe so.
And the librarian wanted at least the species to be cataloged and saved. And they were sort of at odds about that. And wasn't the didact kind of like at odds with the rest of the Forerunners as well? I'd have to dig back into it to get to the specifics.
Obviously, he couldn't have been that at odds with them because they built the Halo rings and stuff.
Well, I know in some of the books he was like sort of in this like prison mausoleum thing where he was like mummified or something. It was a whole really weird story. That the books they get really into
I'm already...
All right. Anyway, in this game, the didact comes back, and he is your main enemy. He has this army of basically robot skeletons.
Yeah.
And it's a mix between fighting them, who are, I guess, doing the will of the didact, and then also the Covenant, which seem to be following you.
I hate that you're fighting like elites and grunts and stuff like that again.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Although,
like, when Halo 3 ended, the elites were with the humans, and the Covenant was essentially destroyed. That's how it should have ended. Halo 4 was a chance to completely reinvent Halo. Not reinvent, but
that is a valid point that you make. As far as the story goes for Halo 4, the Covenant are actually a like rebel faction that remains after the war with the humans, and they still adhere to the Covenant religion and have sort of kept it going even though the prophets have disappeared. And it actually ties in with the books pretty well, which I didn't realize until I just checked the wiki when we paused this.
I understand that there is a reason that they're there, I guess. My real point is that it just wasn't necessary. Like this,
it was too much of a rehash.
Yeah.
It was a rehash with these dumb robot skeletons on top.
You have to remember that even though this is Halo 4, this is really Halo 6.
We fought a lot of Covenant.
We fought a lot of Covenant, and everything behaves like the Covenant.
Yeah. And
in this game, there are new enemies, but they sort of behave like the Covenant. So I just didn't understand what the point was. Like it was just I just needed something new. I needed something very new.
And I think we were hoping that the Forerunner enemies would pick up the slack and kind of take the reins and become that main new enemy, and they really don't. They're very mindless.
Yeah, they're super mindless, and realistically, they behave like the Covenant.
The big guys are a little bit more challenging at times,
only because they teleport. They act like elites, except they teleport.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only unique one are those like flying drone things that like repair things, stuff like that,
and annoy you.
Those are unique, but everything else just feels like a mechanical version of an elite or a mechanical version of a grunt.
Yeah.
And that's a letdown to me.
Yeah. We just to let I mean, if you haven't picked up on this by now, we're gonna bitch pretty heavily about Halo 4.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Settle in.
before we do that, we should probably cover the good things about Halo 4.
All right.
So we can start off
two
and be
good
fair.
things.
Do you want to go first?
No.
Okay. The things that I absolutely love about this game, the graphics, the visuals for this game, whether it's just the environments or the weapons, the enemies, everything looks great.
It's ridiculous.
It's a beautiful game.
How good this game looks. Can you think of a better looking game?
No.
I can't.
It is beautiful.
I feel like graphics-wise, this is the pinnacle of the Xbox 360. I mean, we play a ton of games, and nothing looks... It's just stunning.
Stunning. That's what I have in my notes.
Yeah.
Stunning.
It's unbelievable.
And then, kind of building off of that, the feel of the guns, both the way they fire, the way they reload, just the sounds, everything. They nailed the guns in this one, especially the human guns.
They're incredibly satisfying. Everything in this Halo has a real weight to it.
Yeah.
That I feel is absent in the other ones.
Yeah.
Everything in the previous Halos, everything is super floaty, and I don't know, like this one just feels more based in reality.
And they added some new heavier like heavy machine gun type weapons, which they've largely focused on guns that essentially the ODST would use. But you're a super soldier with powered armor; you can handle bigger weapons than that easily. And I kind of like the fact that you have more of that at your disposal.
I agree.
Those are my main points. The game is beautiful. The weapons are great.
Those are my two good things.
Those are my two good things.
And I mean, so I guess that shouldn't be undersold. That the presentation of this game is stellar.
Yeah.
So that those two things are sort of what defines gameplay. How it feels, how it looks. It's the other stuff, the story, the length, the repetitiveness. I suppose repetitiveness would fall under gameplay as well.
Yeah.
Just like the mechanics of this game work. So no, maybe repetitiveness I wouldn't put under gameplay. I know it's an arbitrary thing.
I think I would put that more under writing of the story.
Yeah, if there was a better story, if there's a better reason why we're doing this, I think that I lost my point. Shit.
Like I feel like the repetitiveness in Halo 1 was born out of necessity, but they did their best to work it into the story. So while I still fault them for it, I give them credit for trying.
Yeah.
In this one, it just feels like kind of a mess. The story is convoluted beyond all belief. Worse, I think, than any other Halo game.
For sure.
At no point do I pretty much ever know what's happening. I know what's happening in the trailer for the game, and that's about it.
So the other problem is that this game feels very unoriginal. There's no unique set piece that hasn't been done in a previous Halo better.
Yeah.
The best thing I can think of, so Dan and I, like we did with all of these games, we picked a level when we played it. We picked this level. First off, we didn't remember any of it.
Actually, we played a little bit more of this game, I think.
We did because we couldn't remember the end.
Yeah.
So we just played from where we started until the end.
Yeah.
Which we started probably 2/3 through the way, and in an hour and a half beat the game.
We were playing on easy though.
We were playing on easy, but one part of the level we played was going back to Halo 2, a gondola level. Where you jump on this gondola, you travel through this corridor, the gondola stops, you jump off the gondola.
Where was this?
This is in Halo 4. We did this.
Where?
It was part of that gondola part.
I don't know. Stop using the word gondola because that's not helping me remember where the level is.
So we picked a flying level. We flew to a building. We jumped out of the building. We jumped onto the platform. We went in this building. In the building was a gondola.
Yeah.
You don't remember this because it was awful. And it was almost an exact rehash of the Halo 2.
Yeah.
Just with minor changes.
Yeah. Like you're flying around.
We didn't really enjoy it that much in Halo 2.
No.
Why would they put it in Halo 4?
No.
Nobody likes that.
No.
Nobody wants to ever play a gondola level.
Mm-mm.
And it was just so slow.
I love that I've already forgotten about it. And we played this 2 weeks ago.
Not even, I don't think.
Yeah.
It was recent. So, it's just the question I keep asking about this game is why? Like, why did we have to do this again? You could have done so much, and instead they just didn't.
I think, especially regarding the story and a lot of the larger elements, like the Covenant Splinter faction and the Didact and some of the other kind of like lore and legend of Halo, I think at this point they're trying to make this property larger than it has been previously. Previously, it was a video game. Anything else you had was sort of a satellite off of that. Like there were some novels, and I really enjoy them, and there were some comic books. And as this thing has started to snowball, there are more comic books and more novels, and they plan the novels out farther ahead in time, and they've got trilogies. And I feel like the events of the novels and the books are almost occurring like simultaneously or together, and I feel like that's part of a larger plan to kind of tie this together. Whereas when Halo 1 came out, and then or Halo 2, and then they had 3 novels, and they were largely disconnected from the video game itself. Like, there were obviously things in common, and some of the events, overlapped, but it was sort of self-contained, and it didn't feel like the game was really driving the book, or vice versa. But now you've got all these like crossover characters, like the Didact, like all this stuff I knew about the Didact, I know from the books. But like, if I was just playing the game, I would have no idea what's going on.
I did just play the game, and I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, I barely have an idea what's going on. And what I do know is just from reading the books and the comic books and the other material and stuff.
He also looks really dumb.
He does look super dumb.
They had like a really great opportunity to make a sinister villain, and instead it kind of looks like a dumber brute.
Yeah, like a dumb brute Borg.
Yeah, like a skinny, muscular brute Borg. Ugh.
He looks like he looks like a butt.
And he's got these beady little eyes.
Yeah, and he is not. So it kind of ties into this. There's like this caste system with the Forerunners, and he's part of this warrior caste and all this stuff. And so that's why he's big and ugly and gross looking. But even still, these are Forerunners. These are world builders. They're at such a technological level beyond anything else.
Like anything here.
And but we saw a glimpse of what the Forerunners, or a cast of the Forerunners, looked like in the terminals for the anniversary.
Yes.
And like, that's what I picture the Forerunners, kind of like this semi-futuristic, humanoid, kind of ethereal, almost ghost-like.
I pictured them more like in robes and like, I don't know, like
it's such a higher,
smarter.
Yeah, it's such like a higher mental capacity than what we're typically.
Yeah, he was just sort of a dumb, typical like.
This guy's a sci-fi turd.
Yeah, he's a sci-fi turd. That's it. That's it.
And his death is one of the dumbest deaths.
I don't even remember the death.
What did happen? So there's
he falls off a light bridge or something.
How did he get killed? You're on the light bridge.
Oh, okay. So, spoiler alert, and this is the most favorable spoiler alert in the history of spoiler alerts. So now you don't have to play this game. Master Chief wants to blow up the Didact with a nuclear weapon. So he runs to the Didact. He fights off all this stuff around him.
What was the Didact? Oh, the Didact was trying to make himself live forever, wasn't he?
Sure.
Using the composer?
Yeah, that sounds no. The composer destroys. I think he was building an army. The composer takes organic material and makes it inorganic material. Like all this robots.
That's what builds those robot skeletons.
So he was going to attack Earth.
Okay.
And kill all the humans.
Wow. I still have no idea what's going on in this game.
He was going to attack Earth to kill all the humans and make these cyborg warriors of his. Maybe to fight the Flood or something.
That's dumb.
It is dumb.
It's dumb.
So, at the end, Master Chief's got a nuclear weapon strapped to his back. Sure, why not? And he runs at the Didact. The Didact is super powerful.
He's got force powers.
He floats around.
He's a Jedi.
He force chokes the Master Chief. Cortana's going rampant. And they're on a light bridge, conveniently. If this happens anywhere else, this would not have worked.
It's like the second light bridge in the whole series.
Yeah. So, Didact's about to kill Master Chief, and all the Cortanas come out of the light bridge, and then
they like grab onto him.
Yeah, they hold on. Oh, she uses the She uses the light bridge to grab the didact. And the Master Chief takes the nuclear bomb and he's like, suck it. And he blows up the bomb.
But he's protected in like a Cortana bubble.
Yeah, but then Cortana balls him. And
bubbles him.
He bubbles him, and then they make out a little bit. And then she dies?
There was no tongue. She used so much of herself to create the bubble to protect him that there was pretty much only enough left for her to, like a sliver, to say goodbye. And that's basically the end of Cortana.
And she's gone now.
That's stupid.
Oh my god, it's dumb. The weird sexual tension between Cortana and Master Chief in this one is it's awkward.
It's dumb.
It is dumb.
Like there's so many directions they could have gone with her rampancy, and I feel like the direction they chose is just kind of boring and weird.
This is super duper nerd time, but rampancy, AIs in Halo are only supposed to last for so long, right?
Yeah, like 7 or 10 years or something.
7 years, I think it is. After that, they can't contain themselves anymore, and they kind of go robot crazy.
They basically think themselves to death.
Right. And they split up, and they have like different personalities and stuff, right?
They go nuts.
They go nuts, essentially. So AIs are supposed to do they self-destruct, or do they just?
I feel like maybe they're executed.
Are they destroyed?
I think
they're
so.
Destroyed. But Cortana's like super. First off, she's been traversing the stars with her boyfriend, the Master Chief.
Yeah, she's been disconnected from the from the Earth forever.
Right. So she hasn't been able to get executed yet, but now she's going crazy.
Although, really, when you think about it, how much time has really transpired since Halo 1?
Very little.
Yeah. But you know what did her in though is she downloaded all that data from the Covenant in, I think, 1 or 2, and using all of that computer power to analyze it and stuff greatly shortened her lifespan. They've mentioned that in a couple of different places.
Okay. I think the course of them are like 7 years between Halo 1 and 4.
Okay.
I think so.
I think it's less than that.
Because I thought it was like 2 years between Halo 1 and 2. Google it.
You keep talking about Halo 4.
Google it.
Complain about some other aspect of it while I look this up.
No, actually, believe it or not, I'm going to talk about a good thing.
All right. I don't believe it, but okay.
In Halo 4, they did the miraculous, and they actually gave us a run button.
That's true.
So, at the very least, maybe that's why it's so short. That's why the other Halos you couldn't run, because then it would have been a 3-hour game like Halo 4.
All right, well...
Okay, timeline me.
This takes place 5 years after Halo 3, so he was floating around there for 5 years.
Okay, how long does it take between Halo 1 and...
I'm getting
we're getting to it. Do you still have to look it up, or do you have the answer?
No, I have to look it up.
Okay,
so
look it up.
I'm sorry, I should have waited.
So, yeah, thank God you actually have the run button. And, again, that goes back to gameplay. It just feels good to run in Halo. This is the first game where I felt very real. And that goes a long way. We haven't talked at all about co-op. Because there's not even that much to talk about. We'll get to multiplayer in a second after Dan proves me wrong. Or right. Actually, proves me right is pretty close to what we're looking at here. Yeah, man, what else is there to say?
Those mechs you get in are pretty cool.
The mechs you get in are really cool.
But they're sluggish too.
They are sluggish.
But they're fun.
This game actually has a lot of Mass Effect ties. I feel...
There's a lot more tech.
There's a lot more tech, yeah.
Like, it feels techy.
It does feel techy. That's actually really good. It feels very mechanical. The entire game feels like you're in a Transformer. Dan said that when we were playing it. And it's really the truth. The Michael Bay Transformers, the one where you can't tell what's going on the whole time.
Yeah, it's just like nothing but Optimus Prime everywhere.
It's like, yeah.
But no flames.
There could be flames. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I didn't see any, but the game is going down in flames. That was stupid. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. So, which is almost too much. There's something as beautiful as this game is. There are definitely points in the game where there's so much going on. It's a little hard to tell what's happening. No answer still.
I'm looking on the Halo 1 page and I'm not finding it, but I'll get back to you. Just keep going. You're talking about it.
There's not that much. Second biggest complaint after just how
talk about Spartan
nonsensical it is. I'll get there. This game is so short, and I've sort of alluded to this, but I mean, it is legitimately short. I think runtime is 5.5 hours.
Is it that short?
It really is. It's between 5.5 6 hours, and I mean, I'm the biggest proponent in the world for short games. I think there's a place for them. Portal 1 is 2.5 hours. Portal 2 takes about 7 hours. And these are my favorite games in the world. Shadow of the Colossus, if you like, just buckle down and play that. I can 6 hours Shadow of the Colossus. I can 5.5 hours Metal Gear Solid. And these are my favorite games in the world. So I'm not saying being short is a bad thing. The idea that a game, $1 an hour or whatever it is, I don't adhere to that. I don't think you need to get that much out of an experience. But there's something just lacking in this. I didn't feel like this game was short because that's how the game was intended. I felt like this game was short because they ran out of things to do, or they ran out of time, which is possible. I mean, yeah. I've
got an answer for you now.
Okay.
So Halo Reach starts in the summer of 2552.
Okay.
Halo 1, I mean, it's a sense because that ends with the fall of Reach and the Pillar of Autumn leaves. So Halo 1 takes place right after that. Halo 2 and 3 take place in the fall.
Okay.
And then you've got Halo 4 5 years later.
So we're looking at like 6 years total?
You are looking at 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
So, and Cortana was awake that whole time.
Right.
The Master Chief was obviously, he was in cryo sleep for 4. So he gets 5 years back, but Cortana doesn't. She probably shut down a bunch of processes and stuff to conserve power and processing and all that so she would live longer, but she's starting to lose it. And also, she really got, not tortured, but she really got put through the ringer by the Grave Mind.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Which they don't really touch on too much in the game, but in one of the shorts, there's a short story collection of Halo stories, and one of them deals with basically Cortana trying to like not lose it when she's being essentially held hostage by the Grave Mind. Which you're right, doesn't really make sense, but it was a cool story nonetheless.
I still don't get the Grave Mind. I know what the answer is. Like I understand what the Grave Mind is, but like his purpose doesn't really make any sense to me, and his powers, and he's like he teleports people. And he also is everywhere. Like, he's everywhere and he needs to be. And he's just sort of tentacles. And I don't know. The whole Grave Mind thing was really stupid.
Yeah.
He kidnaps Cortana and
that's what he sounds like all the time.
He's like a horrible Jabba the Hutt everywhere. Yeah. Ugh, it's just awful.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Spartan Ops.
Okay.
You tell him what it is.
Okay. So Spartan Ops are basically a continuation of the campaign. To were they weekly? It was like
bi-weekly.
It was a periodic download of new content essentially to add to the campaign. And you didn't play as the Master Chief. You played as the woman Spartan, right?
Yeah, and her or she was there. I think you just played as like Spartans with her.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you actually were her.
Yeah, you might be right actually. But it continued the story. There were new missions, and Greg and I didn't finish it.
No.
That
was probably my fault. I lost my internet connection for a little while there. We probably would have finished them if circumstances were right.
I still want to. But what you basically have with it is you have the same group of levels reused over and over and over again to tell bits of a story, and the story isn't really told in those levels. It's told after the fact in cutscenes. So you suffer through playing these boring levels so that you can get a shred of story.
It's infuriating, Dan. I can't tell you how much Spartan Ops sticks under my craw.
It's just the same levels.
There's like 4 levels?
Yeah.
There's 4 levels.
Later on, do they add any others, maybe?
They may have added more levels, but even if they had, it was too little too late. And also, what's to make me believe that they wouldn't just be the same boring crap? Like, I don't even care if they added more levels. I don't want to see them. They could have a booby level. I don't want to see it.
I really would have just preferred downloadable movies every week.
Me too. And that's the thing.
Forward Unto Dawn, which is that kind of live action thing that was that supposed to be, that was paired with this one, right? Halo 4?
You know, I genuinely don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure it was. And it was for a video game direct-to-video sort of story tie-in. Very well done. Very, very well done.
It was a web series, wasn't it? And then they just put it on DVD?
Yeah, and it was on like Xbox Live and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was really well done. And I would have been more than happy, but I like the story. And maybe this was an attempt to give people something to play. But
Well,
sometimes you don't need to add the gameplay. You just need the story.
That's sort of the thing about Spartan Ops that really gets to me. I felt like I was being held hostage.
Yeah.
So, and I know I could have cheated and just watched a YouTube video or whatever, and that's inevitably what I will wind up doing. But in between each Spartan Op was a gorgeous CGI piece of a movie.
Yeah.
It just looks, I mean, it looks so good.
Stunning.
It's stunning. It's just stunning. And it's interesting. It's
And
got
it's
Dr. Halsey.
Yeah.
Halsey. Not Halsey. Halsey. Who is an interesting character in the Halo universe.
And like we actually kind of left on a cliffhanger because this one guy on the ship got sucked in by the composer, right?
Yeah, or just that vault or whatever it is.
Whatever it was. We don't know what happened to him, and then we stopped playing.
And then we stopped playing.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge missed opportunity. And honestly, I don't know what I expected out of them, but I feel like it was harder to make those movies than it would have been to make an interesting gameplay mechanic. Just use Forge and make interesting things.
Yeah.
Let down.
Yep.
Speaking of let down, so my opinion of the Halo 4 campaign is that they could have done anything and they played it too safe. My opinion of the Halo 4 multiplayer is literally the exact opposite. Rather than just playing it safe and making good, simple multiplayer, they went crazy and just added all this junk. Do you agree with that?
I don't really remember it that well. We didn't play it that long.
There's a reason we didn't play it.
We played a lot of Reach. We didn't play a lot of Halo 4.
We tried.
I didn't enjoy it. I remember that.
You enjoyed it way less than I did.
I think I'm getting too old for it.
No, I'm
old and slow.
I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, Call of Duty rules multiplayer. It just rules everything.
It's a meat grinder.
It is a meat grinder. So I think
and it's a bro game.
In Guilty Sparks, in 343, in their mind, they wanted to compete more with Call of Duty because Halo is not terribly relevant in the multiplayer community anymore.
No.
It's still huge, but it's Call of Duty rules. They made all these subtle but incredibly impactful changes. The best example is the munitions drops. So Call of Duty, when you get kill streaks, you get bonuses. At 2, they drop a slightly better weapon to you. At 4, you get to pilot a helicopter. At 6, you get to fly a jet. At 10, you get to nuke everybody. It's actually kind of a fun mechanic in its own right. But rather than do something really cool, Halo did something similar to just the basic level of that. Whereas, if you're doing really well, you get to call in a munitions drop, which will have a slightly better weapon or a boost or something. But it's just really boring. And then even once you get them, like, you don't feel that much more powerful, and
you probably die getting to it anyway.
And that's it. You might die getting to it, and it's just tacked on. And then they also made like all these extra power-ups, which are all just stupid. And this is, again, just to show how much they just wanted to be Call of Duty. One of them is a shield.
The hard light shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, Call of Duty has a shield. They were like, you know what's really cool? Call of Duty shield. Let's Halo shield. What do we call it?
You know what the key word is here.
What?
Duty.
It just got...
I'm sorry.
It just got bad, and it's hard to pinpoint why it got bad or what got bad about it. But there was something different, and it just wasn't fun anymore.
Well, it's progressively added more and more into the Halo experience for multiplayer. I mean, when you get back to Halo 1 and 2, it's a very stripped, like compared to what it is now, it's so stripped down. And it seemed like a much more pure multiplayer experience back then, whereas now you got all this other crap gumming up the works.
There's too much crap. And although I will say something very interesting. In the only fun Dan and I had at all in Halo 4 was, well, there was two things specifically. But the one I want to talk about is the zombie mode.
Yeah.
Which is an official game type now.
Yeah.
I remember playing zombies.
I remember you telling me about the zombie mode before I even knew about it.
This was in Halo 2. This was way, way back in the day.
Yep.
It was just a thing people did.
Like willingly.
Yes. No, that was exactly it.
They made up rules and followed it.
That's it. We made up rules and we followed it. I mean, I was very serious. I don't say this about anything. I was very seriously on the ground floor of this thing. Like, I was probably doing it in the first week it was created. We would get into a room of 16 people. We would all talk because we all had the headset. Like, because it came with Xbox Live. There was no way to get Xbox Live without the headset at the time. And we would all talk, be like, all right, who's going to be a zombie? And then one person would volunteer, and a bunch of people would just figure it out. One person would start out as a zombie. They would have a light sword. Everybody else had shotguns. That was it. And then after that, it was on the honor system.
Yeah.
So the one person with the sword would run around a map, and he would get people. And then when they got that, you would actually have to press start, go to the menu, change teams, and then you would switch teams to the zombies. And it was just like, it was totally organic, and people had a great time doing it and whatever.
And it's amazing that it worked at all.
I know.
People on the internet are the worst.
It's like
Except
when you're playing
listening to this
army
podcast.
men in the back, in your backyard, and you're like, I shot you. No, you didn't. Fuck you. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get a good bleep button.
He's not going to do that.
I'm going to do that.
100% not going to do that.
Promise you I'm doing it.
So the zombie mode has been picked up now.
Yeah,
and
now
it's
it's
like an official
official.
game type.
It's official, and it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's the only fun.
And it's funny the standoffs you get, like when like a human's just looking at a zombie, and like somebody's waiting to make a move.
But it's just so interesting to watch the progression of things like that.
Yeah.
Where it starts with a bunch of dudes just doing something, and now it's like an official game type.
And the other one
is
Griffball.
It's Griffball, which is a reference to Red versus Blue.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe we didn't even mention. We'll talk about it at the end, maybe. Or talk about it now. Red vs. Blue is this pretty amazing internet video. Dan doesn't agree? You don't agree?
It's fine. I know a lot of people are going to disagree. I just don't have
I'm a
interest in it.
very big fan.
It's not a co-op thing. We don't.
No, it's not. Well, sort of is.
Not really. It's machinima. You just watch it.
Yeah, but think about how they create that. And how very... I mean,
fine.
They do it by... They did it originally in Halo 1 by system linking Xboxes and filming it and acting out scenes. That's incredible, man.
All right.
Give them something.
Fine.
And did you ever hear of Machinima before Red vs. Blue?
No.
No. I mean, they were like the original guys. That came from a bunch of guys sitting around an Xbox saying, what can we do with this? That's pretty cool. That is like the definition of how great co-op can be.
So anyway, Griffball. If you have more to say about Red vs. Blue, you're more than welcome to.
It's really great. Although now it's very interesting because, as I was just saying, it started out with a bunch of dudes in a dorm room with some Xboxes system linked. Now they have like CGI guys, and it looks better than the games. And like they have like Spartans running around and kicking off of walls and dodging rocket launchers and everything. It's ridiculous what they are doing with this now.
I haven't caught up.
Oh my god! You should let me show you an episode.
All right.
Let me show you an episode after we're done. It'll blow your mind with where they're at right now. Anyway, Griffball is a joke from Red vs. Blue, which has somehow now made it into the game.
Yeah, and it's basically you in Halo 4 anyway. I think there was a previous iteration in Reach.
There is a Reach.
In Halo 4, you have a light sword or the gravity hammer, and there's a big ball.
It's a bomb. There's a bomb in the middle.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was a bomb. I guess that makes sense. And basically, it's like you're on a soccer field and you need to get it in the goal, and you can kill enemies, and you have infinite lives, right? Like that doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you spawn really quick.
Yeah, it's about getting the goals, and it's just fun because you've got these ridiculous weapons, and you're on this big field, and everybody's like, and the best part. The best part of the whole thing is the first few seconds of the match, because you've got the smart people who just hang back, and you've got the idiots that make a run for the center, and they get completely annihilated because
die.
It's a meat grinder in the middle.
Yeah,
and
then the people who held back would just like walk up and like pick up the bomb, like, all right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting in that there's like legitimate tactics to it and stuff. Like, it's 4-on-4 teams, but you actually have to play defense, you have to play offense, and like.
And the person with the ball, don't they move faster?
They do move faster, but then that's all they can do. Like, they can swing the ball, but they lose their weapons and...
Oh, they can drop it, and then they'll have their weapons again.
Right. But then the other team can pick it up.
Yeah.
It's just, it's fascinating. And I love those... It's just so interesting that the community-created games are the only interesting things in Halo 4.
In our opinion, anyway.
In anybody's opinion. Ask the internets. They'll give you one resounding response.
All right.
Griff Ball.
We've covered quite a lot of Halo 4 and bitched quite a lot about Halo 4. Do we want to sum this up and move on? Or do you have more points?
Halo 4, best 35 seconds of your life.
I did not care for Halo 4.
No, it's awful. Good looking game though. Holy crap, good looking game.
Part of it was that there was so much. I wouldn't necessarily say hype, but really high expectations. And I know that there's 343 was put in a very difficult position. It's hard for them to make a successful game like the previous Halo games, and like no matter what they do, it's almost like they lose. They really can't.
They cannot win.
And they didn't win.
Not a bit. They lost big time.
I am hesitant about the next Halo whenever it comes out.
I am really hesitant too. Although I feel like they have a lot more time to do this one.
I feel like that too, and I feel like they're probably going to learn a lot from Halo 4.
They better.
And I'm hoping backlash. I hope our opinions are not like individual, and these are largely universally held in the community.
I find it so interesting. So E3 last year, they played a Halo trailer.
For Halo? ?
This is the entire trailer. Dude walking in a cape, dude walking in a cape, dude walking in a cape. Giant machine bird flies out of the sand, whips back cape. It's the Master Chief, OMG. I have 2 points about this. It's the Master Chief in his Spartan armor. What's the cape for?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it's for. Mystery.
It's like General Grievous having a cape.
Yes, it is like General Grievous having a cape.
Or some of those clone troopers.
It's ridiculous.
Who had like cloth outfits. Like, guys, you're wearing armor. You don't
need that.
You don't need that. You don't need cloth.
It's like a burlap sack in this video.
You're already wearing clothing.
So everybody's like, "Oh, Halo 5, this is really great coming out." Xbox One.
Next, he's gonna have an eye patch.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing! Oh my god,
over his armor,
my brain would explode with joy.
Or a hat.
So then they were like, "All right, Halo 5. Well, there's no release date. Turns out it may not even be Halo 5. It might be a Halo side story." They basically announced nothing. They were like, "Hey, remember Halo? That's something we do." That's it. They won't say anything else about it. They were like, "Halo coming." Okay, thank you for literally nothing. You just wasted 35 seconds of my time. That's my go-to number. 35.
Apparently.
I'll show you that video too. How did you not see that?
I think I have seen it now that you mention. I remember the cape nonsense.
It's stupid.
I remember it being a stupid video, not saying anything.
It's a stupid video, not saying anything.
Yeah.
Halo. We promise we'll make another one. Thank you, Microsoft. We couldn't have guessed that.
I mean, look, I'll buy it, but like I
will not be happy about it.
I bought the mid-level collector's edition of Halo Reach. I was excited for Reach. I got the base level for 4. I was a little nervous. That is the level. That's like that's how you gauge how excited I am for a game. For a Halo game, whether I'm going to buy a collector's edition or not. I am not, under any circumstances, going to buy a collector's edition for Halo 5.
Let me ask you a question. At what point do you give up on Halo? Do you? If Halo 5 is comparable to Halo 4, what do you do when Halo 6 comes out?
I'll still get them and play them. I'm pretty loyal to the series. If they had like 3 or 4, if they had three bad stinkers in a row, I might like wait a while for them to go on discount. I'll still get them and play them.
Right.
But there's a lot I like about Halo 4 in terms of like the gameplay mechanics and the meat of the game, the infrastructure. I like it. They just fell really short with the story. I feel like a little bit of that might have been out of their control because there's all these books and all this other stuff and comic books, and I feel like some of that stuff, like I feel like Bungie was probably mainly on their own for developing stories in the past, and now I feel like Microsoft is running the show a lot more in guiding 343 like where they're headed.
I would agree with that.
I don't think they have the autonomy to develop the story entirely on their own.
I had a similar issue with the Madden games. Obviously, they're a different genre, whatever.
Do they have really good stories?
Yeah, they do. This one time I threw the football and I was like, "Oh my god, I threw the football!" And then he caught it.
You know, it'd be a game I would love and nobody else would love.
What?
A vintage football game.
Like with the leather helmets.
Yeah, I would 100% buy that.
They made a rugby game a while back. They made one rugby game.
I would probably get that.
But like I bought every Madden from Madden 93 to 2010. No, more so. 2011.
They come out with one every year, right?
Yeah.
How much changes?
What I have found is every other year is worth buying.
Okay.
But they reached like a very bad thing. So like 10 was pretty good. 11 was pretty good. 12 was exactly like it. I felt ripped off. So 13, I didn't buy it when it first came out. Like I just, got it when
it went on discount.
13 wasn't very good. I didn't buy this year's Madden. So like,
have you read any reviews or anything to see what other people think?
Everybody said, "Hey, it's Madden."
Same old.
Same old. So like, it's difficult because 93 to 2011. That's almost.
Were the last two not good, or were they just not new enough? Like
there was nothing
bad?
Changed.
Okay.
It was just
they
a
just
roster.
change the rosters,
and that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
So at what point does Halo get that? Do we just say, "All right, no, thank you"? That's all my point is. It's just I'm curious at what point we say, "All right, no, thank you," because that happened to Call of Duty this year. Ghost had the least amount of sales for any Call of Duty since like the first one.
As disappointed as I am in Halo 4, it's a different studio making it, so I don't feel quite as burned. Like I feel like somebody picked up the reins. They didn't totally knock it out of the park. I'm willing to give them another chance or two before I start getting real hesitant to get involved with it anymore. But like if Bungie had tanked it, that would have been
true. That would have been
a real sour note, especially if it was their last one. But like they went on, they were. I mean, Halo 3 aside, it's still a little wonky with the story there, but most of their games are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Even non-Halo stuff, their past games, they've done a pretty darn good job making games.
Anything from the past.
Like the story for the Marathon series.
I enjoyed the story to Marathon.
Oni is fun.
I never played Oni.
Oni's fun.
I remember in high school you talking about it.
It was a great game.
All right. So, do we have anything really to say about Halo Wars? We didn't actually even put any bullet points in our notes for Halo Wars.
We didn't.
I played it more than you did.
A little bit. Yeah.
I actually beat the game.
It is a competent real-time strategy game.
That is the perfect way to put it. Is very competent. Not good, not bad.
I would say. I think we talked about this off recording at one point. It is probably a good transitional real-time strategy game for people that are generally first-person shooter players.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's not very complicated. There's not much to it. You know the vehicles and the characters and the general like hierarchy of stuff in the game from your experience with the previous Halo games. So you're pretty much like, if you have played Halo before, you're pretty much set up to understand this game.
Yeah, like you'll get it. You'll get it right away.
The flip side of that is that it's just not that interesting. The story is like a non-thing.
I remember the story being all right, though. I remember you making you watch the story. I don't remember what happened, of course, but
there was a guy. I don't know. It read much more interesting on Halopedia when I read it before I got the game than when I actually played it.
As far as like the actual gameplay goes, it's just a basic real-time strategy game. It's like StarCraft Lite. But it's streamlined specifically for consoles, which works.
Yeah.
Except that there's just not a lot of variety.
If it wasn't Halo, I would never. I would not buy it.
No, me too. I
only
sort of bought it on a
reason I got
whim, and I was like, all right, this game's fine.
Yeah, we didn't we kind of? Did you already have it, or did?
No, I had already had it, and I had already beaten it, and I made you watch some of the cutscenes, and then when you were visiting me in Baltimore,
okay,
and then you went home and bought it, and we played a little bit together.
Yeah, it's fine.
Actually, weirdly enough, I kind of remember you getting it as a present from your mother for something. I have no idea why I know that.
Maybe for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because that was like November I visited.
Yeah. Weird.
2010.
Jesus.
Anyway. So that's Halo Wars. We don't really have a lot to say
Halo
about
Wars.
it.
It was fun to play together. That's actually something that's a little cool. You could do like 3-on-3 skirmishes in Halo Wars, which you can do in other real-time strategy games, but it definitely had like a good like let's cooperate and make this like fight this other thing together.
I remember I think we played a map with a bunch of your friends, and I got stomped pretty hard, and I got pretty upset.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So
that's one of my issues with real-time strategy, especially this one, is like when it's going downhill, it's almost impossible to recover.
It's hard to recover. You gotta actually know the game inside and out to like dig yourself out of a hole.
Yeah.
If you like build up a giant force and lose that giant force,
you're
toast unless you know something that other people don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's what drove me nuts on that, because I had a worthy army, and it went south for some reason I don't recall at this point, and that was very unfortunate for me.
Yeah. So that's our Halo retrospective, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit of a wind down here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We shouldn't have ended on Halo Wars.
No,
we terrible.
Started with Halo Wars.
That like post-coital nap.
I need a cigarette.
So, do you have any final rank? We're gonna rank this two ways. Rank your Halo single player or campaign, I would say, and then rank your favorite Halos multiplayer, starting at the top.
So best to worst?
You think?
I'd rather do worst to best.
Worst to best, hit me.
Okay. Story campaign, worst, Halo 4. Halo 3. Halo 2. Halo Reach, Halo 1. I still like 1
Oh,
the
and
most.
ODST?
Oh. I would put ODST as 2. I would put Halo 1 as 1.
Okay.
So 4, 3. Crap, what was my order? Now I've messed this up and made this more complicated. I didn't need to reiterate this. We should cut this.
Okay. You want to restart it?
Yeah.
No, don't restart it. Dan, I'll just edit this.
Right. Sorry. We don't need to go back. Okay. So I would rank my story campaign as worst Halo 4, then Halo 3, then Halo 2, then Halo Reach, then Halo ODST, and then Halo 1. Halo 1 being my favorite.
Okay.
Do you want me to do my multiplayer, or do you want to do yours?
I'll do mine.
Okay.
4 is the worst, obviously.
Without
No
question.
3, 1 probably be my third one there. 2, ODST, Reach. Reach. I just think Reach is the best. 1 is good. Don't get me wrong, but you forget how terrible the second half of that game is.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't hate the Flood as much as you do,
and I hate it.
Some of those like that I mentioned it in the last episode. That big snowy level, you can steal.
That's cool.
You can
know
steal
you
a
can knock it
Banshee
off
at
with
one
the
point,
rockets.
I love that so much. I
That's
just fly
fun.
around forever, killing everything.
And that's really pretty with the snow. I get it. That part of that level in the second half is not the worst. Okay, can I just quickly go back to Reach though? No flood in the entire game.
That is a high point.
How wonderful is that?
That's nice.
It's just great levels the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Reach is the best. ODST strikes a chord with me as a gamer. Like that's the kind of game I like to play.
It seems very thoughtful.
And while I actually think Halo 1 might be a better game than 2, I just played 2 so much, and it just gave me a sense of adventure that no other game has ever really rivaled.
They're really solid games for somewhat different reasons.
Yes, I agree with that.
But very solid.
Yeah. All right, so now rank your multiplayer.
Multiplayer.
We skip ODST because that doesn't count.
Yeah. Well, I played so little of 3, I'm going to have to put that one at my lowest level.
Interesting.
I don't really have anything. I don't really have anything against it. It's really not even fair for me to rank it.
I played a ton of 3, it just didn't happen to be with you. That's interesting.
I didn't have it at the time.
Right.
So we're gonna go with 3 as the worst, I guess. ODST gets lumped in with that. Well, I guess that's not really fair. I guess I'll say Halo 4.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Halo 4, Halo 3, Reach, Halo 2, Halo 1. I'm going to go with pretty much they've gotten worse. Pretty much the whole chronology of the game has gotten worse. For me, in my opinion and my preferences, it has gotten worse game to game.
Fascinating. All right, 4 is the worst, no doubt, hands down. Wow, that actually gets really tough for me after that.
It's also hard to compare because you've got like the early games, which were more like individual stuff, not on Xbox Live.
I'm gonna actually put 1 next, just because, as interesting as it was, as well as it filled a niche at the time, if going back to it now, I have very little desire to play Halo 1.
Yeah, but if they had done the anniversary edition correctly,
yeah, then I would say 3.
Like honestly, you know what? Keep your list going. I'll say at this point.
Actually, then I would put Reach, then 3, and then 2. I would say is probably the best because of how influential it was with Xbox Live, how much I played it, the ranking system. I remember going online and actually studying my stats from Halo 2. Like, what weapons I was using, where I was getting killed, what I was doing good, what I was doing bad, stuff like that. And that was a completely fresh experience to me. Like, to actually have real world statistics to look at, to compare to how I was playing, that's unbelievable. And at the time, I couldn't even imagine something like that happening.
Yeah. I was just going to say real quick, I wish that Halo Anniversary had redone the multiplayer so that I could play it on Xbox Live.
Yeah, that's another 343 let me down.
Like, and as we said, like they totally chinched on the multiplayer. And if they were going to do that, they could have at least redone the maps. But they should have made, like, I want to play that game on Xbox Live with anybody.
Me too. I want to play long ship.
That is an experience that's sort of like lost now, largely.
I agree. Why wouldn't they have done that? That seems like a major oversight to me.
Budget, maybe?
How hard is it to make those levels? Really?
I don't know.
And that's what we call a segue. Just moving from one to the next.
Yep.
Moving
We're
on
going to
to Halo 4.
transition to Halo 4 like we transitioned from Halo Reach to Battlefield 3.
That's right. Look at that. It's almost like we practiced that.
Yeah.
We did practice that. We practiced in a mirror. It was weird.
Just like this is weird and is going to get cut.
Oh, no, it's not.
All
do you
right.
think do you think listeners think we're gay yet?
Probably.
Probably. They should, because we are.
All right. So we're going to move on to Halo 4 now. And I don't like the transition, so we're going to come up with another one.
No, I like that transition. We'll cut out the gay part.